Hello and welcome to this video explaining how to create a TriMesh surface from a table of offsets for an existing design. First, we want to load in the offsets for the existing design. In Maxsurf, these offsets are called markers, and we see here a typical selection of markers from an existing design. If we go to the markers window, you can see that this data has been read in from a text file. It's a tab delimited text file, and the data in the file contains the station index, the longitudinal position, the offset, and the height of each marker. You can ignore the other columns. Once you've loaded in that data from the file, we want to make sure that all the data is valid, and so the first thing we do is use the delete duplicate markers command to remove any duplicates from the model. I'm going to use a tolerance of 1/2 inch. In this case there was one duplicate there, so we've corrected that problem. The next thing we want to do is make sure that these markers are lying on the correct stations, and so we can use the group markers by stations command, and that will automatically sort all of the markers longitudinally and create the design grid for all of the sections that it finds. You can see here we now have a station where a series of transverse markers are located. Next, we want to get the markers in the correct order around each station, from the center line around to the shear line, and so we can select them again and choose the command to sort each station. That will automatically have sorted them. And if we now turn on the option to connect markers together and we zoom in, we can see that each station has been correctly sorted. Notice that the first marker is shown in bold so that we know that that station starts on the center line as we wish. If we have a bulbous bow, as we have in this situation, it's okay to have two consecutive markers going on from the bulb up to the hull, and we just need to check that those offsets are both at 0. So as we select those markers, notice in the properties table it shows us that they're at the offset of 0, which is what we want. Another important way to check this input data is to go to the body plan view, and in the body plan view it's easier to check the data if we just look at one station at a time, and we can start up at the bow and then walk our way down the boat. As we walk our way down, we can see that each section has been automatically sorted correctly, so that's good. That's going to help us with our fitting later on. But as we get down towards the stern, there's a box keel on this design, and if we zoom in a little closer, we can see the first few sections in the box keel are sorted correctly, but as we go further down we can see that occasionally the automatic sorting will not work. And the reason in this case is because these two markers here are closer together than the two that we expect to be connected. There's an easy way to correct that problem. We just select in order this markers in the order that they should be, and then from the markers menu we can use the reorder selected markers command to correct them. We can do that again on the next station and so on. So I can select them in the correct order like so and use that reorder command to correct them. However, sometimes we may see a section where the ordering is even more incorrect, and in that case it's the same reason, but the geometry is a bit more complex, and so what we can do is we can sort this section in stages. So we can select a part of that section and choose automatically reorder those selected markers, and then we can select the remainder of that section and then again use the automatic command, and so in that way we can correct all of the points quite automatically around a station. What I'm going to do now is close this design and load in one where the markers have been sorted correctly, and so we should end up with a design that looks something like this, where all of my sections are nicely ordered and they follow the desired shape of the model. The next stage is to create the TriMesh, and so I can choose from the markers menu, say generate TriMesh surface from markers. We have some options relating to the data that's input. In this case we have half a hull, so we're going to automatically mirror the surface and delete any triangles that are on the center line, and that will automatically create our TriMesh surface. And if I turn on the rendering, we can see we've automatically created a mesh surface that can be used for hydrostatics, motions and resistance. There's one small error there though. If we rotate around, we can see most of the hull is correct. We can look inside, we can see the box keel's been modelled correctly, the shear line's fine, the hull is fine, the chines are okay, but we have a small error up in the bow with this bulbous bow. So let's correct that error. The reason that's occurred is that we don't have quite enough information here. The data's a little bit sparse, and so what we can do now is we can go in and add an extra point to close off the bow. So this is station 3. I'm going to add a point just in front of it on station 2. I'm going to make sure it's on the center line, so it's on an offset of 0, and I have to make sure that that station is sorted correctly, so I'm going to select all the points on that station and auto reorder those selected markers. If I go back to my 3D view now, I can regenerate my TriMesh surface, and we'll see that if we turn that surface off, there we go, we're correct with a new TriMesh surface. That completes our introduction to creating TriMesh surfaces from markers. Thank you for watching.